Salam, everyone. Thank you for joining and tuning into this podcast. So I'm Hamza Irfan from Feeling Blessed, and joining me today is Arif Anis Sahab, who is the president of Akhuwat UK. So like many nonprofits in Pakistan, Akhuwat Foundation is engaged in providing emergency relief to those affected by the floods. So Akhuwat is one of the largest nonprofits in Pakistan, with 800 branches nationwide and 5.4 million beneficiaries. So 5.4 million beneficiary translates into 2.4% of the entire Pakistan's population, which is huge. So since its inception in 2001 by Amjad Saqib Saab, it has disbursed interest-free loans worth rupees 180 billion, which is 800 million US dollars. And apart from that, Akhuwat is operating more than 300 schools and 3 colleges. So I just want to highlight that viewers can donate to Akhuwat Foundation by going to this link, which is mentioned in the description, or they can scan this QR code. So Arif Anis Sahab, thank you so much for joining us today. People like you who are, involved in this great mission. I know you're extremely busy all the time, especially with the floods and all that. So our goal at Feeling Blessed is to support Akhuwat's mission of creating poverty-free Pakistan. And with all the floods and all that, so I think this mission is now has become even more challenging. So my first question to you, Arif Saab, is what is the most pressing issue at the moment?
Assalamu alaikum, Hamza. Thank you so much for inviting me. Yes, we have been happily working with Feeling Blessed, and I appreciate all the support. This platform is definitely pouring in a lot of charity pounds and dollars to those who deserve this, who are below the poverty line. Unfortunately, you're right. The last 3-4 weeks have been terrible, very upsetting, very frustrating. What we witnessed in Pakistan, probably I haven't seen such kind of devastation in my life. I was in Pakistan 2-3 weeks back, and in south of Punjab, what we witnessed, it was mind-boggling. It was very frustrating. Millions of people out of their homes right now in the survival mode. There was water everywhere. Crops were destroyed. The livestock, actually, they were destroyed. So we were trying our best to, in the last 3 weeks, I would say, Akhuwat's first priority was, as you understand, when a disaster strikes, the first thing becomes, the priority becomes rescue. And after rescue, the second step is relief. And then the third step is rehabilitation. So we understand that in Pakistan, unfortunately, not many organizations are really ready for the first step, which is of the rescue. There are state enterprises, state bodies, state entities. They have been doing their best. Pakistan Army and the Air Force and Navy, they have been doing their best. And then those who were saved, the second tier was the relief. People lost everything. They didn't have anything to eat, anything to cook. The shelter became itself a huge question mark. So Akhuwat was hugely busy all over the country. As you rightly said, so more than 800 offices all over the country. And then at the same time, more than 10,000 staff and volunteers. So we have been on the forefront of this whole drive. It was really daunting, really demanding. And now, when I spoke to Dr. Amjad Saqib just yesterday, we have been discussing in our board as well that one of the most pressing issue, what is coming from those who were affected, that is that we understand it is now the end of September, October, November, and the next 2 to 3 months, winter is impending, in fact, and the weather will be getting harsh. So those who survived, and they are actually now, we understand, around 40 million people. Their main question is what happens to us when the weather gets tough, in winter in particular. So we are switching into, we as Akhuwat, in fact, we are switching into the rehabilitation side, where we start helping them to build their homes so that they could go back and start their normal life.
So again, when you mentioned that, the pressing issue is to provide relief to the people, rescue and then relief. So, and a lot of people do think that, a lot of livelihoods have been lost, crops have been damaged. So, what is like the long-term goal of Akhuwat in ensuring that, people get all that back, and you're able to give them in a sustained way?
Well, to us actually, and almost everyone working in this particular sector right now, the biggest problem is the scale of the issue. We are looking at 40 million people, and 40 million, that makes a big chunk of the entire population. So when you hear that 1/3 of Pakistan is underwater, then you look at the size of the crisis, because it is going to actually hit everyone. It's going to hit the market, it's going to hit the crops, it's going to hit the grain side of things. So what we are looking at, usually we are very focused narrowly on the sustainability side of it. For us, if like one of the worst possible scenario can be that those refugees, those displaced people who actually have to leave their homes in under dire circumstances, they actually stay in wherever we have those arrangements, those tent cities and those arrangements. And if they stay there, and if they stay there longer, the lots of problems actually, they will crop up, because keeping that much of population there, feeding it constantly and consistently, that is itself going to be a big question mark. So our best case scenario is, under this particular crisis, we can help people go back to their homes. Given now we understand that the water is depleted, their homes, I understand, they were devastated, but water is, we are having now less water around where the floods hit really bad. So in these circumstances, the best bet is people go back. We help them, like Akhuwat, as you understand, we provide interest-free loans. So we are working with overseas Pakistanis in the United Kingdom, in the USA, European countries, that we can provide them as many loans possible and give them the right kind of advice and insight that they can build or rehabilitate or renovate those devastated portions, and they could get settled in their normal life. So that's the best case scenario, because if, as long as they stay out of their homes, they won't feel settled, and this will keep on creating this, generating this crisis and upscaling this. So that's what we are appealing through Feeling Blessed and other different mediums, that please help us rehabilitate those who are displaced.
And a lot of actually people, a lot of farmers have actually lost their livestock and their crops. So they've actually lost the means to make money. So how do you address this challenge?
That's what exactly what Akhuwat does as an organization. Those who don't have such kind of facility, we extend them interest-free loans. They're based on the trust capital. You don't need any. It's not a mortgage. It's not anything which is it's not asset collateral. So we reach out to people, and once again, from the perspective of sustainability, we give them those qarz-e hasan, that's exactly given under the Islamic principles, so that we don't produce, once again, millions of beggars or millions of people who are looking for food, but those people who can survive the crisis, get back on their feet, and become a useful part of the society as they have always been.
What are the major requirements in terms of funds?
Actually, these particular floods, they hit badly almost everywhere. When you look at the south of Punjab, or Sindh, where all of this rainwater, the flood water, finally ended. So it drowned everything on the way. In Balochistan, that was more torrential nature that destroyed homes. As you understand, in Balochistan, we have less population. So thanks God, we didn't lose many lives, but just livestock was lost. In the south of Punjab, the crops were lost really badly. And then several deaths over there. In KPK, it was also very torrential because it was coming from the mountains. So it did pretty good damage, but alhamdulillah, not that bad that was expected. So some good public side, the government side support. So we need to give these loans everywhere. We need to help these people everywhere in the south of Punjab, Balochistan, Sindh, KPK, even in Gilgit-Baltistan. So we are receiving SOS signals almost from everywhere, and that's where we are focused. We through our offices, as one big advantage is that Akhuwat has more than 850 offices and say tens of thousands of volunteers. So our outreach is really big. We are reaching out to those international NGOs, INGOs, like Islamic Relief and several other NGOs, mainly to facilitate their what they are planning to do. We are very much open to work with anyone because we have the on-ground access, and we are happy to become delivery partners. We are happy to become partners in any situation where we can make sure that this is our specialism, what we are planning to do, the sustainability, the rehabilitation side of it. So we are receiving donations, hundreds of, rather thousands of overseas Pakistanis. They are reaching out. They are very generously donating. Everyone is hurt. Everyone is very emotional at this moment as we look at the scale and size of this whole problem.
And would you like to give message to overseas Pakistanis, especially those in the UK and the US, regarding support for Akhuwat?
Yes, it's actually that's a cry for help. When I went to the south of Punjab and I myself witnessed all of that, there were many sleepless nights, and I actually met many people who came across those videos, those images, and they lost their appetite. They couldn't sleep because knowing that these are the countrymen who are going through these circumstances. I met very many Pakistanis, overseas Pakistanis, who are deeply hurt about it. They want to do things. We are actually, as Akhuwat UK, we invited Dr. Amjad Saqib, our founder, to the United Kingdom, and he's coming for a 10-day trip, 10 days tour, road shows, meeting as many people we can meet up, the groups to make sure that they are aware of the scale of the problem. And then we are doing fundraising in London, in Manchester, in Birmingham, and in Glasgow. That is just to reach out to those Pakistanis who and share with them our first-hand account of the devastation and involving them, in kind of rebuilding Pakistan.
Thank you, Arif Anis, for your time today. And I just want to reiterate that viewers can donate to Akhuwat by going to this link or by scanning this QR code. So this link is also given in the description. And with this note, I would like to say goodbye. And again, Arif, thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thanks very much, Hamza. Those who are watching, they could go to akhuwatuk.org and they could exactly find out how we are trying to help. And may Allah bless you, all those who have been generously supporting, and similarly, all those who have been supporting us directly or through feeling blessed. Many thanks for having me tonight.